Burn chicky, come and get your manna. Come and get your manna. Wow, how do you like that? Which reminds me of another song. How do you like me now? Wow. Well, let's just not try to improv any songs here because that's a good way to get off key and lose the audience before they even get here. Anyhow, welcome to Man of Minutes. This really is Man of Minutes, and yes, I know the camera's on. I want to thank you for joining me today because the content I have to share with you today truly has been life-changing for me, and that's just not hype or hyperbole. I mean, literally some things I've struggled with in my life, and what we're going to share today has truly helped me out with that. I want to thank you for joining us here. If you're watching us on YouTube or you're watching us on the Man of Minutes channel on Facebook, you're in a great place to catch up with all of our content. If you're seeing this as a link, I'm getting there, from my Facebook page, please go over to the Man of Minutes page on Facebook, the Man of Minutes page, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you know you're getting the notifications, and that'll keep you right up to date. We are doing the 30 Days with Solomon. That's going out daily, and so stay in touch right there and follow along with us. Same thing on YouTube, and YouTube's got all kinds of blown out bonus content, season 1 stuff. So go over to YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the icon so you make sure that you're getting the notifications and you can follow right along here with us. Other than that, thank you for staying with me for the program today. And yes, I've got a video clip for you. Yes, it's coming right up. And we're going to get right into today's topic, which is life-changing for me. I hope you find it useful. All right, here we go. Funny video clip in 3, 2, fun. Those strawberries are rotten. Yep. Explain? If anything goes wrong today, I'll be able to say at least it wasn't as bad as breakfast. Uh-huh. You're just setting yourself up to have a bad day. A Man a Minute with Daniel Earl. All the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. Proverbs 15:15. Oh yes, we all know those people who could find a dark lining in any silver cloud. And of course, we've all heard that life is 20% what happens to you, but 80% what you choose to do about it. Now Solomon interjects and reminds us that the feelings, thoughts, and emotions we are feeding today will be the ones we are feeding on tomorrow. So, the next time life hands you lemons, just pucker up, baby. There we go. There's the good stuff. I know you're thinking, this kind of stuff is the stuff that changed your life. Yeah, actually, it kind of is. And I am going to go into that more. But first, I want to share with you the verse again so we can read it. This time slowly, more thoughtfully, with intention. All the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. And man, that clip kind of said it all, didn't it? Does our interpretation, our reaction, does that have anything at all to do with outcome? Does that outweigh circumstance? I found out, well, you know what? I'm going to tell you what I found out. I found out that I was part of the problem, that I could take a good situation and put a negative spin on it. And that was a particular little life skill set. I'm reminded of Liam Neeson in that movie, right? It's like, I have a particular set of skills. A skill set that could take any good thing and turn it into a negative. The worst part was I didn't even really recognize the fact that I had that particular skill set. And it took some time. I mean, it really took, honestly, some people in my life who were willing to point that out to me. And not in a harsh way, but in a very gentle, reminding way. And so one thing I'm going to do is to encourage you to surround yourself with people who are cheerful, either by practice or by nature. And I know sometimes it's like, well, that person's just cheerful by nature. That could be, it could be, or they could be cheerful by practice. Now we think back to that video clip, and I want you to think about that guy who was sitting there eating the bowl of rotten strawberries every morning with the thought that, you start out horrible and it's just bound to get better from there, right? And the other guy, but see, that's the whole thing. I mean, you're kind of feeding into your own negativity. in that way. I mean, the odds of you having a good day after starting with a bowl of rotten strawberries is pretty slim. And so, how do we start out our minds? And this is one that took practice for me, to be honest with you. Depression would often either be present in my life or looming on the horizon many days, sometimes prolonged. And it took practice to learn to see that before it like hit, right? And I think about when Jesus was talking, right? And he says, you look at the evening sky and you can tell the weather for tomorrow, but you can't tell the signs of the times. That was part of that formula when I started thinking to myself, man, what if I kind of look ahead a little bit, as much as I can, and maybe try to predict some of that weather and prepare myself for a different frame of mind, for a different mindset, right? Can we do that? Sure. Yeah, I can. And I would recommend it to you. Learn to recognize those signs and prepare yourself. Because as I said in the video clip, it's the emotions, the thoughts, the intentions that you are feeding. And you can say, wait a minute, I'm not feeding these. My outside environment is feeding these. Are you sure? I mean, maybe, and to some degree, I think that does have a lot to do with it. I'm not going to lie, it does have a lot to do with it. But I think we can condition ourselves to train for better responses to that. And to look for those things that are going to help to guide and direct our life in a positive way. And because I spent a lot of time researching this, there's hundreds of examples, but I want to share with you this thought, because this one was a big one for me. Guy talking about in the old days of sailing, you see these ships arrive in the harbor, coming from all different places on the map, and you see ships going out away from the harbor, going to all different places on the map. Now they're all headed out into the same sea. Okay, and some of that sea is rough and choppy, and some of it is smooth. Sometimes the winds are good and favorable. Sometimes the winds are against you, and sometimes there's no wind at all. Oh, we have a caller. Man of minutes. Am I looking for a business loan? No, I'm not. Just a telemarketer. When I said you could post any question that you want to on the program, I was not inviting telemarketers to call with random things. So to answer your question on the program today, no, I'm not looking for a business loan. But setting sail on the open seas. So what determines the destination of all these different vessels that are going in all these different directions? What determines the destination is the captain of the ship and the set of the sails. And so when you look at that, life happens to all of us. The good, the bad, the indifferent, it all happens to all of us. But what determines the port, the destination at which we arrive, is not the blowing of the winds and not the condition of the sea so much as it is the set of the sail. And I know remember I told you about that dark lining in every silver cloud? Some of you just said, well, yeah, but what if it's so bad it sinks your ship? Let's look at the 80th percentile and let's think and concentrate on that. And the part that is within our control, right? And we all know, well, I don't know, maybe we don't all know it. You know, the prayer of serenity. Lord, help me to accept responsibility for the things I can control, to relinquish responsibility for the things I can't control, and the wisdom to know the difference. Listen, if you don't like your feelings, it's kind of like Indiana weather. Just sit around. It'll change. Give it time. Maybe before we respond from an emotional place, we give that time to see if those feelings are related to something else, like, being short of a Snickers bar. And that's one piece of advertising I think that we all relate to, right? You're just not you when you're hungry, or when you're tired, or when you have 1,001 other things going on. So today, my prayer to you is that we take these passages from Proverbs and we think about it. What am I choosing to feed on? Am I choosing to feed on the positive, or am I choosing to feed on the negative? And, think about it like, what am I storing up for myself? Am I storing up for myself positivity, or am I storing up for myself negativity? See, that was one I was good at. I would store up negativity just so when things started going too good, I could buffer myself back down where I wouldn't set myself up for disappointment. Well, my goodness, friends, listen, there's going to be enough disappointment in life. It's just going to be there. I recommend that you take the positives and store those up, and take the negatives and just as much as you can, just ditch those. Jesus said, I have come that you might have life, and that you might have life to the full, more abundantly. Several different translations say it different ways, but the fullness of life is there for us in Christ. So I would recommend to you that you look to Christ often. And when you are experiencing those times of turmoil, that you turn to prayer and you turn to the scriptures. Read some of the stories of the Bible characters and the apostles, and see the plight, the turmoil that they went through, and the way God crafted them through that, and then turned it over into something that was greater than could have even been predicted. So those are my thoughts for you today. I hope you join me tomorrow for Manna Minutes. And until then, please remember to be good, to have fun, and to do it in that order. Lord bless you.